Monday Night Football. The Harbaughs get together for the first time since Super Bowl 47. Jim's back in the NFL. He's in the conference. The Ravens and Chargers cross paths. What a great way to start Thanksgiving week with an awkward reunion between a couple of brothers. Ravens at 7-4, an opening now that the Steelers have lost to kind of climb back into potentially, eventually, first place in the division. Chargers at 7-3, ahead of the Ravens at number 5 on the playoff tree in the AFC. John is 2-0 against Jim, but I think Jim's maybe got the better overall team right now. Ravens better offense. Overall team, I think Jim might have it with the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Chargers defensively, I mean, I think everybody was kind of waiting to see, okay, are they truly the number one defense? They gave up some big plays against the Cincinnati Bengals, which a lot of people do. But overall, I think the Chargers have proven that this defense is for real. Derwin James, they play with 3 safeties. They moved him closer down to the box. Khalil Mack wasn't even healthy. They've gotten younger. They've gotten a lot more fat, a lot more athletic, and a lot faster getting to the football. I think Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, he's come in. He's done a really good job, just fundamentally sound. And it's amazing to me. You have an offensive-minded head coach, Harbaugh. And Coach Dungy and I said this a year ago that he was going to have an immediate impact on Justin Herbert, but he was also going to have an impact on that defense. And this defense is legitimate. Like I talk about, they have depth. They got some pass rushers. They got some young guys. They fly around and they play with relentless abandon. I'm really excited about the Chargers. The Ravens defensively, I'm concerned about. And Lamar Jackson, how will he fare against this Chargers defense? That's going to be a big question.
I mentioned Harbaugh, Jim, earlier when talking about Jameis Winston because there are strong similarities there. They are both nuts. They're kooky. They're different. But it works. All those players, you talk to those guys, Derwin James, Khalil Mack, how much they love Jim Harbaugh. He says weird things, but he gets you ready to play football. He inspires you. That's what guys are looking for, inspiration to go out there and give their all.
Yeah, and you know what they told me? They said, look, he's quirky, but he's himself, and that's what they respect. They said so many guys out here, they try to be something else or try to be another coach that they're not. And he is authentic. He is himself. And Derwin James explained and said, I call him because he's authentic, because he's himself. He doesn't try to please anybody. And when I walked in that building, the one thing they said is, hey, you're going to always know where you stand with Coach Harbaugh. You're going to always know where you stand with him because he's a very honest guy. I took my son to the University of Michigan, worked out for Coach Harbaugh for probably about an hour and a half. And he took me into his office. My wife was there and he pulled me to the side and said, hey, shook my hand and said, hey, I like your son. He's a great kid, but we're not going to be able to offer him a scholarship. And I was like, wow, instead of being disappointed, I was actually really excited because I'm like, this is what we need more of. Coaches being transparent, being honest, speaking to people and not running games. And that's what they love about Harbaugh. And that's one of the things I loved about him as a teammate. He was always there. He was always present. He was always accountable. And he would fight guys if they weren't accountable. And that's why I think he's the best. And I was always, since last year in the playoffs, talking about the Chargers need Coach Harbaugh. He will come in and change the culture. And it's been really amazing to me, Mike, how quickly he's come in and he's completely changed the culture. We don't hear about any fights within the locker room, any crazy decisions. He's kicking extra points. He's kicking field goals. He's not like Brandon Staley. He's completely different. And these guys, the biggest difference is the respect factor. Everybody in that locker room, including the administrators, the people in the media, and in the lunchroom, they respect Harbaugh. And they didn't respect the last coach, Brandon Staley.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.